We're in game number 1, right here, in this best of 9. In the bottom left side, we have ourselves the blue Zerg player fighting for the generic green wings. He is Rogue. His opponent, in the red, he is the TvZ Gamers. Terran Expert, he is INnoVation. Just love these fellas. I mean, they seemed very chatty, honestly. I remember back in the day, INnoVation wouldn't really come out of his shell much. He wouldn't say much of anything. It could be because most of the interaction I've seen him have is with, like, through translators and such within interviews. Right? And whenever I see him just kind of chatting on the, in the game, I don't know exactly what he's saying. Or usually it's for a short period of time anyway, because we're waiting for the game to start. And then ultimately he's gonna have to play the game. But yeah, he's been a lot more vocal though recently, right? Getting more messages out in the boards whenever he's like confused. He just kind of does a lot of just the regular, you know, that type of thing. Just what's happening here? He's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy, I feel. Rogue here, you know what, this is, I don't get to cast Rogue as much as INnoVation. INnoVation just seems a bit more willing to compete in these online settings. And maybe Rogue now admitting that he wants to go as well because of his opponents, or could be the case, but it's a lot of speculating right there. Of course, oh, this is that's a big spike, isn't it? Oh my. Oh my. Immediately. Zwiro leg. I think that is the... Well, more translating. I think that's the... I think he asked for a redo, right? Do we need to re-host? I don't think we do. That's the, like the... oh, he's back. Alright. He's really funny. Lots of Korean fans. A part of his popularity is from his strong career throughout all of StarCraft 2. That's right. This is true. He has like a... maybe one of the longest running overall StarCraft 2 career that's around, right? At least as successful as his. He was joking for a rush. Can I do chatting rush? Interesting. Interesting. Don't think that's gonna win you the game, but can always try. Worthy of an attempt. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, that could win you the game then, if it's just as a distraction from your actual rush. I mean, it's happened to everyone at some point on the ladder, right? We all know what that's like. As soon as somebody is a bit too chatty, you start to get a little tingling in your StarCraft sense. Your Starcraft? No, I'm trying to combine the words StarCraft and Spidey, but it doesn't quite work. Starcrafty? It doesn't have the same ring. Anyway, it's to win a quick game while distracting the other... Yeah. Alright, I already read this. That makes sense. Alright, so, moment of truth here for INnoVation coming up. Is he going into the Widowmine style? Is he gonna stick a bit more to the regular? He's making a couple of Hellions right now, but it doesn't say much. It's still very common to kind of open up initially with a couple of Hellions here. And help out with a bit of the scouting. And of course, you want to have those Hellions available, because if you don't, you're very likely to die to just like a big spill of links coming across. Now, it doesn't happen all too often because, well, Zergs know if they make a lot of links, they'll most likely die due to the Hellions just coming out, so... There we go. Fancy, little bit of micro. Rogue's Creep Tumor was not meant for this world. It'll take quite a beating here, Overlords. Let's see what it will be able to see. Sees there is a starport here without any add-ons doing things. These Hellions, actually, only 4 of them, but they are getting on top of these workers. Not a lot of links to really stop these Hellions from doing much. Okay, one more shot maybe. Gets 8 workers. That's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Can get the units lost tab in particular, you know. It's gonna make you feel pretty darn happy with the way this opens up. You know, also has 6 other siblings. His younger brother is an AD carry for SKT for League of Legends. Yeah. Like, he's just got some weird pro gamer gene in his family tree. It is weird, isn't it? And to be fair, imagine being a gamer in that family and then not being as talented as, well, either INnoVation or his AD carry for SKT. That may be annoying. I'm pretty certain, like, I've heard his brother at some point in an interview or something with the GSL complain about playing video games with INnoVation because it never was fun. He was always too good, no matter what they would play. Which, you know what, it's a lot about talent as well for a lot of these players, right? I know he plays a lot of games and he's really smart about it all, right? But ultimately, just seems to be a very talented player. Yeah, and Solo from Kaisi also frequently says he never practices yet, still wins tourney games. This is true. This is interesting. Honestly, I feel like I'm not quite sure how much Solo practices, but he is pretty good. Makes you wonder though, if he practiced more, would he? How sick would he be? How strong would he be able to get? Bjorn is also a hardcore Inno fanboy. I mean, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. You know, he is one of these absolute gods of StarCraft right now. Very strong and Terran player, and well, more than capable of handling himself. Let's take a look. That is the drop right now. A couple of Marines stimming forwards. The Widowmines keeping the links and the drones backwards and burrowing in order to maintain the rockets for a little bit longer. 5 workers do go down. That's from a Hellion run by. Already on top of things, though, are these links looking to barbecue as much as possible. 12 workers. Once again, a great bit of economic damage there being dealt out by INnoVation. Let's take a look. 24 workers in total. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just needs some motivation and practice some good builds with Protoss. His win rate against Protoss dropped quite a lot after the Super Battery. Yeah, that makes sense. My dear lord, this game, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if this is on my side. Sometimes this happens when I'm on the Korean server, where it just doesn't quite want to be as flawless as possible. So it would be usually on the European servers. Or it could be the co-commentator again. I hope the players aren't too bothered by it. Usually they will just pass the game though if there is this amount of lag for them. And I assume that there is not, which is the main important bit. Alright, coming in here, nice stim. Those Widowmines. Let's see what he targets down. Actually, gets targeted down. Bailing's exploding right on top of it. More drops coming in. INnoVation not so much on the Widowmine tree, right? Not really going for the mass harassment with those Widowmines. More so seeing the more regular Marine Widowmine combination of forces, combining their strengths and weaknesses. And still a lot of aggression though, right? A lot of harassment coming out of INnoVation here. It's been able to build up quite a bit of economy behind this as well. Two Widowmines again not being able to be set off right now. It's probably my ping, yeah. I mean, I am from the Netherlands, watching 2 pro gamers live play a video game and then broadcasting it as well. Usually the broadcasting doesn't influence it too much, but ah well. Ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows in and out of here. We get to see everything going on. We get to see all that we need. That is one of the luckiest SCVs I've seen for a long time. 5 HP, 1 hit left from that Zergling, and that would have been it. He would have been taken out right then and there. Still a couple of Widowmines here with the Mariners. But instead of INnoVation now being on both sides of the maps, it looks like Rogue is starting to set up some aggression as well. On the top left side, there we go. The Marines and the Zerglings intermingling a little bit. And then the Mutalisk, of course, now just right on top of the missile turret. The repair is just barely not enough. Not managing to get all the SCVs around the missile turret, I do believe. And this is some funky overall SimCity here from INnoVation. I'm not sure if this is working out in his favor. It seems like the Marines really have to rotate around their own buildings here quite heavily. Okay, does manage to clean up all those links right now. And the Mutalisk aggression for Rogue still needs to ramp it up a little bit here to really make it worth getting all those Mutalisk, of course. But that is still a lot of time to do so. That is still a lot of time to do so. And it still is forcing INnoVation into another type of way of approaching this game, right? He's making Thors now. He's going to have to focus more so on the Widow Mines. He's getting a little bit, you know what, pressured not to go into his own medevacts anymore. So if he wants to go across the field, it's going to have to go through, well, a big push like this, most likely. Can't really split up that much anymore. He's still trying to split up, though. Which is surprising me a little bit here. It's actually going on to 3 locations right now, it feels like. The bottom right, straight through the middle, and then we have more stuff on the left side right there that we'll be taking a look towards in a little bit. What is this? It's just more Marines. Okay, just a lot of Marines right now. INnoVation actually backing up on the right side, realizing, you know what, I may still need some stuff at home before I lose everything. And, well, he is losing quite a lot already right now. That third base that he put up under a lot of stress. The wall does keep him safe though at this this other base on the left side. It looks like that has been cleaned up. No banelings with the counter aggression of Rogue. It looks like he more so kept everything together on the left side with the banelings, in order to keep himself afloat. Not lose too much himself as he is going for the counter-attack, as he is moving in again here once more. Oh, that is a nasty connection right there. Banelings managing to land on their targets. As this base once again having to be lifted up. INnoVation starting to be getting himself into quite a bit of a pickle, I would say. It doesn't feel safe anymore to move out, and that is the exact way you need to play as a Zerg. Never give a moment's rest to your opponent. Never just let them push into you. Always prod and poke the backside where they still have some mining going on. And here we go again. He is just relentless with this. How far is his hive tech? Okay, he's just now only starting his infestation pit. So that is still a little bit far away. But I mean, that is because he made 22... Well, how many more? 26 Mutalisk. Yeah, that is still quite a few, isn't it? Alright. Some more... hatchery damage here is being taken. This base will not be able to be created for now. This base here, 2 missile turrets and a planetary fortress. Let's see how good the repair can be. It's not there. Not there at all. Unfortunately, Mutalisk will be coming in. At the other side, we have the Thors, Marauders, and Widow Mines doing quite a bit of pushing here. There's the Mutalisk. Actually, a lot of the Mutalisk there being torn to shreds by the Marines. Well, a lot of them go down very quickly now. Has to rotate back and forth. How many Mutalisks did he lose there? It looks like 14 extra Mutalisks just in that one fight right there in the natural base. That happens very quickly. Losing a bit of control as he's trying to deal with all these places at the same time. It looks like, you know what, it's hard to keep track of as an observer. Imagine having to control those units as well and still keep up with your production also. Mistakes will be made, and honestly, now that we're kind of getting to see where we're at in this game, it looks like INnoVation managed to get himself into a really good position here. He's coming forwards once more. It's not that many resources anymore left for Rogue here, as he lost that base on the 4 o'clock a lot of times. Even the Mutalisk now being pulled backwards, no longer feeling safe to do a lot of counter aggression. A couple of banelings do land on the mark. But still, this is the main concern I have right now for Rogue. He needs to find a way to deal with the push that is coming in. There's a couple of banelings coming in here, but is that going to be enough? There's Thors here. There's the Marines do bulk up a little bit. That may be enough now for the reinforcing Zerglings to pick off the rest. Maybe, but it's still looking rather rough. Yeah, GG is called. Still another entire army there, of course. The 3-3 upgrades. Yeah, the 3-3 upgrades. Also a really good point there by Riverside. That was also very important. Having that upgrade advantage. Rogue. I mean, Rogue, he looked pretty good with his counterattacks. Here and there, it did fall apart a little bit. But ultimately, you know what? I thought he was making some headway. I thought he was getting into that atmosphere where he just makes Mutalisk and such look absolutely ridiculous. But ultimately, INnoVation just kind of settles it. Gets everything in a good place. Gets himself once again in up to, what was it, 130 something, almost 140 army supply. And just move across the map. Be like, alright, well, good luck beating me now. I still have 40 army supply back at home, ready to take on your Mutalisk if you do try to counterattack. I'm ready, son. I am ready for a fight, and doing so quite amazingly. Let's see what they are planning to do for the next one. Which map that will be. Going back up to the top here to try and figure out what the thing is. Not quite sure. Jaganatha, alright. Alright. Jaganatha. Or as we Dutch people like to call it, Jaganatha. Which sounds very dirty, in a sense, for some reason. But I'm not sure why. Jaganatha. Maybe it's just because it's Dutch. That could be the case. That could be the case. Alright, well. Very standard stuff there by INnoVation, of course. Yeah. As Riverside is saying. I mean, that is Mine, Marine, Thor. Couple of Marauders in there as well, of course, to tank the fire from the Banelings. It's just what INnoVation does, right? The very standard, clear-cut, straight, I'll just do what I need to do, what I've practiced, what I know works in this game, and just kill you with raw skill. Raw, overall macro, some micro here and there mixed in as well. And yeah, ultimately, I'll just push you off the table. I hope we get some maps with random spawns. I mean, they do add a little bit of excitement, don't they? The random spawn maps. I'm not quite sure if we will that much anymore, because people... it is more difficult overall for a map maker, I would say, right? To have to take into consideration every single matchup. And then also it being on multiple different type of setups, potentially. So yeah. Waiting for Indicate. I don't know if we are we? I don't think we are waiting for somebody else. Let me see if I'm being messaged. Nope. Alright. Moving on forwards. We got on the boards 1 point. Not in this man's advantage, unfortunately. For him, he's a blue Zerg. He's from the Jinna Green Wings. Yeah, he never loses a best of 7, so will he lose a best of 9? He is Rogue. His opponent, the clear-cut, absolute powerhouse he is. The Kitesy gamer man himself, the Red Terran, he is INnoVation. So yeah, I personally like the multi-spawn locations as well. It does add a little bit of extra flavor to the overall game of StarCraft 2. It's a slight little bit of flavor, but then again, at the same time, I can see why people would be against it as well, right? Makes it harder to scout. People win just because of basically a little lucky move, instead of actually being able to, you know, I don't know, play the game as it's supposed to be, according to them. It's because, well, his drone went to the top left instead of the top right, and then he didn't get the scout in time, and so he didn't know there was a proxy 3 Rex, and he died. And honestly, if you die because of something like that, when there's money on the line, right? when it's your dinner on the menu, it's it becomes a whole different story. So, you know what? On one side, I think it would be good for as a spectator kind of thing. On the other side, it makes sense. It makes sense not to. Or some more maps like Golden Wall. Yeah, Golden Wall was fantastic, wasn't it? There's a tournament from Creighton that is very cool as well. It's called Mappers Delight, I think it's called. And there's some really, really interesting maps in that tournament overall. Like they have portals, they have these, what was it called? It had like a really interesting name. Jungle Tango, no wait, Jungle Tango Bongo, that's the one. Jungle Tango Bongo, yeah. Apparently it has like veins growing in the middle, and then you can't move with ground units through the veins, so you need to shoot them down before you get locked up into some certain area. And you need to keep clearing them out because they keep growing, right? There's some pods in the middle somewhere, of course, where they spawn, and if you clear that out, all of the veins will be going away. Cute name, yeah. It's a funny name. Jungle Tango Bongo. It's a great one to say as well. But yeah, definitely interesting to watch that type of stuff. So if you're looking for some interesting maps and such, that's a good place to check it out. All right. Enough about that. Let's see this game. What is going on right now is, well, basically everything that we kind of expect from these players, right? Everything that we kind of would hope to see. And, well, maybe this time around, INnoVation not going to be able to get as much damage done. Will Rogue maintain his drone count this time around? Because he lost 12 initially, then he lost another 12, 24 in total. That's a big mark. That's a big mark on your economy. It's going to be rough to recover. He did okay for, you know what, somebody that lost almost 30 workers, but ultimately that is just a place that you're not really meant to recover from, right? Reaper's scouting here. Doesn't really want to get any kills anymore. Just wants to see the drone count, wants to see whether or not there's a roach warren, anything of the sort. Oh my god, he's going to get away. How is he getting away? Oh, that is at the point where I would be like, we need to pause the game, tell INnoVation to send that Reaper back into the base of Rogue, because that is ridiculous. That is not supposed to happen. Alright, third base gets scouted though here. Rogue knows the absolute everything about INnoVation, what he's planning to do. INnoVation not steering away from his original plan though. He's still making this cloak and the secondary Banshee. I mean, it's not a bad unit composition overall. Can definitely still make a lot of headway. Especially in the hands of somebody like INnoVation, right? Very often I see him and Cure do this type of stuff. Or Mario as well. And then I'm like, well, I mean, it got scouted. We got spore crawlers everywhere. There's like 2 queens in every single mineral line. And then he's just maneuvering in such a way where he still gets like, what, 12, 13 workers with these 2 Banshees. And I'm like... You're just sitting there being like, alright, well, I guess you do. I mean, that's not supposed to happen, is it? But then it does, so maybe it is supposed to happen. Who knows? Alright, there are those 2 initial Banshees coming straight bang on through the middle. Overseer and a Spore Crawler here, 4 queens. Yeah, that is not the place where you want to be as these Banshees right now. Nice pull away with the Herd Queen. Doesn't even need to use a transfusion there. I think he had one available if he needed it. Maybe worth just doing it now, actually. Yeah, there we go. I mean, he has multiple transfusions now. In case he needs something else to be transfused, he will be able to do so. Alright, here we go. The first initial bit of damage. First Banshee goes down though, and it looks like this may be one of the times where the defense is actually going to be sufficient. And the Banshee will not be able to get away here. Will it? No, there's a Spore Crawler here, right? One more shot. Yeah, boom. Boom goes the Banshee. The Benchamites. The Benchamites? That sounds weird. Yeah, it's the Benchamites. Alright. Now, INnoVation, that didn't do much. That didn't do much of anything, really. I mean, honestly, compared to his previous aggression, this is pretty poor. So he's gonna try to find something else to still kind of facilitate somewhat of economic damage on the on his opponent right here. Now, to be fair, Rogue has been playing it relatively safe. He's not been going up to a crazy amount of workers. Not been going up to a crazy amount of bases either. He's still maintaining a very, very strong backbone of Zerglings and Banelings right here, in case there is somewhat of a move out. Right? You always want to be sure to have some Banelings. Already have that speed up as well, in case there is those Hellbat pushes or Marine pushes. Always a scary thing. Did we just see a Zergling climb up this fence over here? Like, I swear, these posts overall, units just keep climbing on top of it. Recently, I saw a Hellion climb up on this thing as well. It's very weird. This map's still a little bit buggy on that department, unfortunately. It's nothing game-breaking though, so I'm not sure if it will be fixed, but oh well. It's kind of funny anyway, seeing it, right? Whenever you see it, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Fourth base for INnoVation coming to the location, circling already on top of the spots. Gonna delay this a little bit. Ooh, okay, good splits against those Widow Mines. I'm surprised how much he's using his Banelings for the Widow Mines, actually. Like, that doesn't seem efficient to me at all, right? Why would you use the Banelings instead of the Zerglings or the Mutalisk when they've already have been set off, and you got your Overseers just like a couple of meters behind you? Just doesn't seem beneficial to me. Now, I mean, you're gonna have to remake those Banelings, because, well, I mean, you have to. You cannot do this without Banelings. There we go. Gets that one. On the bottom side, we have the Zerglings grouping up with the Banelings, maybe looking to get some scoring for the right side here. There is the burrowed Widow Mines, though. Banelings, careful. Yep, alright. Cleans it up, nice and easy. Nothing too bad. And this is one of the problems I have with the smallest amount of problems, but ultimately, I mean, if we have Banelings killing themselves, they should still show up in the unit source tab, I feel like. I suppose they still do with the resources overall. But you can't really see how many Banelings that is that did commit for the Widow Mines and such, right? We'll be able to keep track of that a little bit easier that way. Anyway, regardless of all of that, Rogue is putting himself in a pretty good, solid position here, right? He has the Hive Tech on the way, probably gonna get himself into the Ultralisk on a big map like this. A good amount of creep spread. Makes sense for him to try and do so. We don't see that much anti-Ultralisk tech just quite yet for INnoVation on the production tab, right? Or even getting himself to a position where he will be able to start facilitating more anti-Ultralisk units. Needs to get maybe a couple of barracks switched over to the tech labs. Wants to get himself some liberators, something like that. It's going to mostly go for more command centers for now. Really ramp up his economy himself as well. And let's see if that is going to be working out here. Banelings and Zerglings, Mutalisk all coming in for the counter-attack. The army of INnoVation not pulling back though. And that is already all the Banelings gone here as well. Yeah, I mean, Rogue, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a really, really good player, but sometimes I wonder about these, some of the Baneling usage here. I guess it did free him up, just killing off all those SCVs. You don't have to then control the Mutalisk and such as much. You can just kind of roll in there, instantly dead, focus on the defense straight afterwards. Alright, let's take another look. Let's take another look at this resources lost tab. It's a little bit of a difference. Of course, Rogue has been mining more. Yeah, quite a lot more, actually. There is the adrenal glands, +3/+3 as well, coming in right now. It's a lot closer together than it was the previous time here we saw in game number 1. INnoVation not going to grab himself that advantage. Marine Marauder Siege Tank here, trying to come back and clean everything up. Those Zerglings, you're not even adrenal gland up just about yet. Still doing quite a number though. On the overall units, whichever was available there. Mutalisk not getting caught out of position here. Luckily for a Rogue, we'll be able to hold on to those numbers, bringing them backwards. Always good to see. Maintaining those units, very important. Up until the moment where you really don't need them anymore, which is not really much ever a point in time, right? You'll always want to have Mutalisk with this composition. Maybe not too many, but they're always super important to kind of deny your opponent from just sending in the medevacs free of charge. Okay, Banelings here versus the Marauders. Not a great hit there either. A lot of damage being taken here, I would say, by Rogue. Siege Tank even still remains. Now there's the Marines. There are still more Banelings, but it doesn't look like it will matter. Rogue more busy, preoccupied with the counter-attack. Gonna lose a couple of those Mutalisk. Hopefully not too many. Trying to get damage onto the planetary fortress there as well. Already a planetary. I think he was anticipating that not to be the case. So finding himself in a little bit of trouble. Now, we don't have any Ultralisk out on the field yet either, do we? He does have chitinous plating. Does want to get the Ultra Speed upgrade as well. At some point. Let's hope he doesn't forget about it. Can be a little bit tricky to see sometimes when you're just doing a lot of things at the same time. Okay. Supply depot actually, it felt like it got lowered. It was the Widow mine there anyway, so felt like it was okay. There we go. There's the Ultralisk now in production. Zerglings on the left side here. A couple of Banelings trying to be created. Rogue is just trying to preoccupy INnoVation here. Is it going to be working out for him, or is he just kind of donating units right now? It doesn't feel great, right? The amount that he's doing with these Zerglings. Does manage to burrow a couple of them. The ones on the top side, though, unfortunately, still inside of that missile turret. Where is the missile turret? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Was not aware that was a missile turret there. Okay, and INnoVation once again starting to come across the map. Now, the overall army supply here is quite in favor for INnoVation. Doesn't mean he's just going to straight up win this one just quite yet, though, as he is quite spread out with his army. Good moment here for Rogue to try and equal it out a little bit. A lot of Marauders, though. Jeez Louise, we're having a lot of unit interactions. Ultralisk will be going down, and the bank's not too far apart either. Now, it's going to be easier still for Rogue to just recreate everything that he lost. A little bit quicker. He does have the higher economy still, right? He's still mining more money. And just because of the way that Zerg production works, right? It's a bit easier to just recollect all those larvae and then just make them into units. Instead of having all your production facilities kind of one by one making something else. You need to wait a bit longer. You don't have the potential to just keep larvae injecting continuously throughout the game and stack up on those bad boys. Careful there. Losing a couple of Zerglings, it looks like. Left side this time around going to be under pressure. INnoVation getting pressured himself as well. The Banelings here, that's a good connection, I'd say. Wants to run away with those Ultras, though. They are very expensive units. Should I did kill a base, but you want to maintain that Ultralisk count as much as possible. And it looks like right now, actually, 3 more maybe going down. Oh dear, that's a rough bit of damage being achieved right now. More Widow Mines just placed all over the map from INnoVation, making life extremely difficult. And Rogue actually right now, he only has 3 Ultralisk here. Can they still clean this up? Just barely, it feels like they will be able to. But INnoVation, okay. This is an interesting move as well. Going straight into the main base, trying to avoid the Ultralisk core now. He killed off another base in the bottom right side. The drones were burrowed, but this is starting to get out of hand quite spectacularly for Rogue. I'm not quite sure if he will be able to readjust the course here and stabilize at this moment in time. He still has a reasonable army. He's going to have to take more shots at these expansions from INnoVation. This INnoVation is actually starting to get, I think, like on an equal amount of bases right now. Even a little bit ahead, seeing that his bases are done and Rogue's bases are only just now being produced again. Or, well, reacquired, I should say. Now we have that command center. Good amount of Mutalisk, of course. A good amount of Mutalisk, well controlled. Still going to be able to really drive home this this advantage, perhaps, that Rogue has found himself with that work account. If this game keeps going like this, I mean, ultimately, it's going to look good again for Rogue. Which it already is starting to be the case, kind of, right? At the same time, though, INnoVation, his army supply, I feel like is absolutely going to skyrocket if he just kind of maintains back at home here. INnoVation kind of strapped for cash, actually. Really would have loved to have this base in the top left side. Those Mutalisk absolutely detrimental in keeping Rogue in this game right now. He has reacquired his own 2 bases. INnoVation not quite able to send anything across this side. That is similar to the Mutalisk harassment that we're seeing from Rogue here. Rogue even taking bases away now from INnoVation's side of the map. Couple of Widow Mines there. Poor attention from the Mutalisk. Does get the other one, so we'll not lose too many of them, but still a bit battered up with those Mutalisk now. It's gonna have to be a bit careful. More Ultras on the way, and INnoVation. I mean, there we have it. That skyrocketed army supply around 140 again, and this is the moment in time where things can get very difficult for Rogue to handle. Couple of Widow Mines going into the favor for INnoVation can be enough at this moment in time to hold off every single Zerg unit afterwards. Let's see, nice snipes there as well. Gonna target down all of those Ultralisk. Banelings on the right side also. This is gonna be a massive surround, actually. INnoVation getting caught off in very, very, very heavily right there. Losing a lot of stuff without being able to micro backwards. It was in the speed zone, but ultimately the speed zone kind of working in favor for Rogue, I would say. Very well done. And INnoVation, I mean, this is going back and forth here continuously. He is sniping bases of Rogue, but Rogue, he's starting to hurt again here. Well, I mean, INnoVation's starting to hurt again here. Maybe if we get a couple of bases killed off right here in the bottom right side, that could facilitate a better bit of momentum for INnoVation, but he needs to have those bases on the left side as well. And if he doesn't get those, that is just going to be GG, because he doesn't have as much stuff. He just won't have the production to keep up with Rogue, and we're already seeing this right now. Well, the income advantage is one way to see it. I'm gonna try to come in here. Rogue knows that this is the crux right here. This base in particular. If INnoVation manages to secure this base and this base, I mean, it seems very far-fetched at this moment in time, perhaps, but that is what he needs to do. That is what will be able to bring him back into this, I feel like, and put himself ahead, actually, even in this position. But right now, it's incredibly difficult. There's still so many Mutalisks remaining. The Brute, no, the Banelings and the Ultralisk all coming in. GG is called. Rogue ties up the series. Just like that, we have overall, you know what, a macro game going into the favor for INnoVation, and then straight up afterwards going into favor for Rogue. So not bad at all. Rogue didn't take any damage there in the early part this time around, right? So he managed to maintain his overall work account. He managed to maintain certain momentum, and yeah, got himself in a very, very lovely position there, and knew how to navigate that situation into a win. It was closer maybe than he would have liked it, right? A couple of times. Did have to kind of cross his fingers and hope things were going to work out for him, but ultimately, They did. They definitely did. Even afterwards, I mean, I thought he was going to be done for there. Maybe once or twice. Seeing him losing those 2 bases, right? The bottom right and then the 9 o'clock. That's a scary place. That's a scary place to be as a Zerg. On similar amount of bases. Hats off. Hats off to Rogue. And INnoVation as well, I suppose, right? Being able to do quite a bit there. Alright. Game number 3. Submarine coming down. We'll be doing the countdown. Inu always likes to do the countdown in the chat and then not do the actual countdown until a couple of seconds later. GG. What's up, Anki, by the way? How you doing, buddy? How you feeling? How did the cast in English go as well, actually? I'm kind of curious. Anki, the more known for his Spanish casting, but ultimately he had to do some English casting recently, so interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. How'd it go? I know sometimes you talk a little bit of trash about your own English, so wonder how that felt. I wonder how that felt. Good morning. Good morning to you as well, my man. Alright, as we wait for Anki to formulate a response, we're going into these, well, the introductions. In the top left side, a blue Zerg player fighting for the Jinak Green Wings. He is Rogue. And his opponent in the red, he is the Kaisi Gamer Man himself. He is INnoVation. Making that one hell of a close game. Even though he didn't manage to achieve any early on damage. Put himself still in a very winnable position, I feel like. A couple of things, just a couple of things, army rotation wise, right? If those Mutalisks did run into some more Widow Mines, if they, the Mutalisk, when they were going to the top left side, did run into a big cluster of Marines, that base was saved. Who knows? Who knows what could have happened? Suddenly, that is the situation where you have a hard time imagining INnoVation losing, right? Just that one snipe with the Mutalisk on that base, though, kind of turning it all upside down again. There wasn't that much mining going on anymore from the initial bases from either of these players. And without those extra bases being added in, it's a rough one. It is a rough one. Enki saying thumbs up and smile, a blushy smile. So I think it went good. I think it went good. You were quite happy about it ultimately. I think that's the what I'm getting out of this. All right. The Reaper man. Don't fear the Reaper. It's what Rogue needs to, it's the song that is going through his head. I don't think Rogue ever feared a Reaper for a long time anymore. Maybe this one will change the course. There's links already. Queen on the way. It's fine. Absolutely fine. Nice bit of micro here. Of course, you want to be as utilizing the creep as much as possible. For anybody that's struggling with the Zerglings against the Reaper, basically what you want to do is move your Zerglings all the way back when the Reaper comes in and really commits to the creep. That's when you can give chase, because the creep helps out a lot with the slow links. And then as soon as you get near the edge, or if one of the links get low, right, that's when you start pulling them backwards. So pull them all backwards if you're to the edge of the creep. If they're low, pull one backwards. There you go. I don't know if anybody still struggles with this, but there you go. Tips from Kozan. Beginner moments, learning the game. Actually, I did introduce a new player into the game yesterday. I don't know if he liked it in particular. We were trying, well, I was trying to get him versus an AI and was teaching him how to like build some units and stuff. And ultimately that was going okay. That was going alright. Then we immediately jumped into team games with another friend of mine, and that's when things get a little bit hectic, huh? It definitely is. But yeah, always fun teaching your friends StarCraft 2. Always a lot of fun. It's gonna take them a while to get up to the level of INnoVation and Rogue, but hey, that's gonna take it for everybody, right? Or just barely getting a whiff of that command center right there. That's rather important. Sees that command center, and that command center is very far along, especially considering how little production has been happening yet for that third of Rogue. So yeah, very quick third here for INnoVation. Let's see if that is going to be able to carry him through a macro game once again. Since he isn't trying to do damage this time, really. At least not yet. He may start to do so right now. But ultimately, he hasn't found any damage, right? He's not going for a lot of harassment heavy style. He's just playing it relatively safe and very... it's almost like stats-esque, isn't it? Just try to be as greedy as possible and get away with it. One of the best ways to play StarCraft 2. A few days ago, Rogue won over it, 3-0. Ooh, where was this? Guess I can look it up on a League right? League Rogue. Let's take a gander. INnoVation. So this was at the Alpha X Series Special number 13, round of 4. Ah, okay. It's always Alpha X, isn't it? So much Alpha X stuff going on. It is impressive. We're a big ball just rolling down a hill, gaining more and more momentum. Neo on the case. Neo's always on the case. Let me see. Yeah. 10 minutes. There we go. Sorry guys, a little bit of self-promoting there in my channel. It's not much appreciated. Anyway. Hellions coming in here, looking to try and get some damage. Marine push with the siege tanks, let's see. There's still a lot of creep spread, right? Not a lot of damage has been done to the drones, but at the same time, because of this quicker third command center, that means there's more creep still available as well. Though, you know what, those Marines, they are really going to town right now onto those tumors. Finding a lot of overall potential pushing area. Rogue is just gonna go straight across the map here, looking for a bit of damage himself. He's gonna have have a flank set up here rather nicely. Trying to wiggle himself in between these units. He's gonna be able to do so. Look at the amount of surface area he's finding himself. Cleaning up 2 of those siege tanks. Very, very nicely done. And that is a lot of the overall pushing power that is coming out behind this tank push, right? It's pretty much half the tank count just gone, just like that. Massive, massive victory right there for Rogue with this run by finding a lot of damage. Even coming in with more circlings right now. INnoVation, he may have to consider just moving backwards with his stuff at this moment in time, because he's just not really recovering here in time. He's losing more than he's gaining with these Ling run bys that are continuously happening, and him being out and about on the map himself as well. Okay, the Hellbats did become Hellions there. Didn't quite arrive in time, unfortunately. INnoVation still waiting for this creep to just kind of dissipate. Trying to wait for a moment where he can start moving himself further forwards. It makes sense that he's just being very careful here, of course, as his reinforcements is being clogged up inside of his own home. It's going to be difficult to actually start pushing out here. Alright, more creep tumors do go down. Baneling target fire. Ooh, not quite getting getting those banelings, but does manage to get the pick off. Or the pick up, I should say. The pick off would be getting the banelings, of course. So, as this is going on here, let's take a look at the resources gathering. It's not looking too bad for, well, I'd say INnoVation here. I would love to see a 4th base, though, in the production tab. Do we already have a 4th base? We have 3, and then no command center. Yeah, okay, there we go. There's the 4th base. It's on location as well, actually. That's quite the daring maneuver. Maneuver. No, it's not maneuver. It's really good, actually. Alright, siege tanks here. Let's see what they target. Just whatever is close by, it seems. The rest of the army of Rogue not quite committing to the attack after all. Okay, more banelings here. More target fire. Getting himself hurt a little bit there with the banelings, though. On top of the left side as well with a multi-pronged attack. He needs to be careful, those banelings. And provide quite a bit of firepower there right now. INnoVation here on the left side as well. Great targeting, and once more with those Marines taking out as many banelings as possible. And Rogue's army supply is dwindling here. He wants to get some bases himself as well. Getting himself a 5th base rather detrimental to maintaining some sense of normalcy in this game. Without starting to really be pressured out of this. By the way, I haven't mentioned it just quite yet, but we are seeing the Hydralisk style here from Rogue, which is quite interesting. It's something we don't quite expect all too often, but yeah, Rogue is gonna go straight up into Lurkers right now. There's 2 ways you can play the Hydra Ling Bane style. You can just kind of stay on the Hydra Ling Bane, or you can transition yourself into those Lurkers. I think always going for the Lurkers is better overall, because Lurkers are just really strong. Oh, another fight. But yeah, it does appear to be doable with just the Hydra Ling Bane as well. At least we've seen this happening from Serral versus Maru. And I mean, if you manage to beat Maru, even though you're Serral with a style, I would say that is just showing us that it's a style worth trying out and worth doing. Siege tanks coming in here. Still quite a couple of those Lurkers need to pull out, though. There's no real buffer force. Where are the banelings? 11 banelings in the production tab, but none of them are available right now. Lurkers coming back into the ground. I don't think there's enough of them with the concave that has been established here. The base does fall ultimately, and that should be enough right now for INnoVation to be pretty darn happy with himself. Can afford to move backwards here. And try to find a different angle. Maybe clear up some creep elsewhere, and then start pushing from a different area. I mean, look at this bottom side, right? Definitely an area where you can get very quick progress. Not a lot of creep overall, and INnoVation. Let's see, sieging up. Oh, that's just it. That's it. GG is called. Rogue knows. Losing that base and losing most of those Lurkers. Not going to be able to maintain any sense of positioning that in that game, and taps out. Has to leave the building. And another victory goes into INnoVation's favor. Not bad, not bad. A split decision to push against 2-3 Lurkers was on point. What a man. That's true, that's true. That takes some real overall knowledge about the game. How those Marines will move, how they'll interact with the Lurkers. Honestly, I myself probably wouldn't have done it. I also feel like if I would have done it, I would have died. I would have died with my Marines there. INnoVation, not the case though. Does manage to get his Marines in a nice little concave against those Lurkers. Stutter step in the correct fashion as well. And take care of those Lurkers overall. So well done, in fact. Very well done. As we're moving forwards with game number 4. I want to say, are we already on game number 4? We started on Light Shade. No, wait, we didn't start on Light. What am I talking about? We started on Pillars. Pillars, yeah, we started on Pillars, Jaganatha, Submarines. So yeah, game number 4. Terran is such a difficult race. It has a lot of micro potential, right? I guess the same could be said for Zergs and Protoss as well. But yeah, with Terran, I feel like if you don't micro correctly, It's a very stark difference between not microing correctly and then microing correctly. With the other races, it's a little bit closer together, right? It's less volatile. If you don't micro correctly, you don't just immediately lose half your firepower. The micro requirements look amazing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see Terran plays. I agree with you there. I definitely do agree with you there. But to be fair, like, honestly, Zergs, Brodels, still a lot of micro there as well. Still can be quite difficult to make work also. I guess it depends a bit more maybe on the army composition, what you're going for, right? And the amount of overall micro you can put into it. But yeah. And I suppose also what you're fighting against, right? So if you're fighting against Widow Mines, you need to do a lot more micro overall. And, yeah, alright. Anyway, only 1 point on the board here for the Blue Zerg. He is from the Jinnah Green Wings. He is Rogue. Needs to tie it up again, otherwise fall behind quite heavily against this red Terran player in the bottom left side. He's from Kaisi Gamers. He is INnoVation. Alright, so what's the plan here? What are we up to? What are we up to? Some drone scouts? No, no drone scouts. Just gonna do the Overlord scouts. Just gonna leave open this area and this area, it seems. Unless if he's planning to still move over these places, but he is not. He's gonna send both Overlords across the map, actually. So, and this is, I think, Rogue saying like, all right, well, I know INnoVation. I know what he likes to do. He's not gonna proxy rax me. That's just not INnoVation at all. And you know what? He's right. He's right. How often do we see INnoVation proxy rax? Very, very rare occurrence that you do see INnoVation proxy raxing. I mean, it's happened. Don't get me wrong. It has happened, but so far in this series, overall, 0. A couple of times before this, when I did see INnoVation play, also pretty much 0, so. Brute Lord Infestor was difficult to watch. Oh, man. It's still a little bit of a thing, isn't it? Oh, okay. Extractor. Quick extractor thinking. Maru's Brodels is ranked 4 on the Korean ladder. Oof. That's just, you know, that's a bummer. I was kind of thinking about this, actually, earlier on with a friend of mine. I was discussing about balance. And, like, how weird it is, actually, in a game like this to kind of play and then be a, you know, let's say, be a Michael Phelps of swimming, right? I made that analogy. Because Michael Phelps, when he gets in the water, there really is just the one thing that people do, and it's swimming, right? You're either quicker than your opponents, or you're slower than your opponents. And it's easy to kind of be like, alright, well, he just got 10 extra seconds above everybody else. He was just able to swim a lot quicker than all of his opponents, and just be a lot better in that respect. Now, in StarCraft, no matter, you know, how good you are, no matter how many times you prove it in a way, right? Unless if everybody else of your race is just absolutely abysmal and never wins anything, and then you still do win things. Every time you win, people are still gonna point towards the race, or make that be a lot of the entire issue about, well, how we won or how we didn't win. Where, you know, with something like swimming or some other sports, that's impossible to do. So, I don't know. It feels weird in a sense. I don't know if I'm making any clear points here, but it feels weird in a sense to call somebody the best player in the world, because, well, we're always looking to get these 3 races to be kind of on a similar level, right? But then What if there is a Michael Phelps of StarCraft? How would we know? How would we know? Or would we just be like, alright, well, I guess it's time to kind of buff up the other races a little bit further. It's, yeah. They are quite closely related, and sometimes it's difficult to see the difference, right? Because it's such an incredibly complex game. It's so much about just people playing the right styles, doing the right things. It's so much just gaming inside of your head, making the right moves, being able to do all these things at the same time. And yeah, it's a lot easier to kind of look over those other facts than it would be for something like, I don't know, well, he just threw the disc very far, you know? It's like, yeah, he just has a really good arm and he can throw things very far. He's very good at just getting the ball in the goal, right? He always gets the ball in the goal. Yeah, that's right. That's because it's him. That's right. It's not because why? It's because he's on Team Barcelona. No, that doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway. That's why I wish StarCraft 2 was balanced by giving all 3 workers to each players, and they could decide which worker they use as to use as they scout. Interesting. So you would just have all the 3 races. Hybrid, Terran, and Protoss. Man, that would be that would be wild, dude. That would be wild. I don't know. Ultimately, wouldn't you then just have, like, you know, the Warcraft 2 situation where people would always have just the same race, in a sense? They would always go down the same path. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to think about. Anyway, what's happening in this game? We'll continue onwards after this game with the mind-bending beauty of an RTS game. And what goes into making it all balanced and such. Alright, well, these Zerglings not finding a lot of damage here, are they? My dear lord. Yeah, that could be trouble. That is a dead base overall. The bailing speed not quite yet available here for Rogue. Rogue actually, come to look at it, he hasn't lost a lot of workers. He hasn't lost a single worker actually, but it looks like he just has a lot less stuff than I would anticipate. I thought he was going to smack that attack from INnoVation back with relative ease, but ultimately he took an abysmal fight. Look at the overall minerals lost here. That is no bueno. That is absolutely abysmal. We need to have banelings, and we only have 4 of them on the production tab. I think we may be just having Rogue falling down here. He's sending in those Mutalisk. GG. Comes back to terms and turns up the politeness again. But what was that? What was that? What in the world? Rogue, did he just misread that entire situation? Why did he commit with those links right there? I think he just kind of felt like he had to keep that base up. I don't know if he had to. He could have just made some banelings, try to stay on creep, hold on to the other base. He keeps getting good overlord numbers. Maybe that is the case, yeah. Definitely interesting. Workers active. Yeah, a pretty good worker count. Overall. He didn't seem to struggle on that department. It's just, yeah, wow, that's a flat line right there. I don't know if you guys saw. Let's see if I can... Ah, wait, we have no match history, of course. That's unfortunate. But yeah, there was definitely a flat line right there for the army count. So maybe there was just a massive amount of overall not producing army units, which could be because he was just building more workers, because we did see that going up and up. It could also be because of supply, right? Just losing overlords. But yeah, INnoVation taking that game a little bit earlier than I thought he would. Being able to claim victory. Anyway, so I like the idea from how am I blanking on this so hard? How am I forgetting his name? I feel embarrassed now. Jake, right? Jake, what's this game attack? No regret, of course. So he came up with the idea of everybody being forced into playing random, right? Because then you're gonna have to learn all the races. And you're gonna have players just be better overall, right? The question about race wouldn't be a case anymore because you just see people winning with all the races instead of just a single race, or just, you know. And then if one race is a bit more overpowered than the other one, it's very likely to have everybody, the entire community, be like, yeah, we need this race to be weakened because it's in everybody's overall ideal situation for the game to be balanced, right? You don't have people anymore claiming that their race needs to be improved and the other people, you know, whatever race they play needs to be lowered because it's all random. It's randomized what type of overall race you get. It's definitely very interesting. Not sure if, you know, it would be an overall benefit to StarCraft, but it's definitely interesting to see it being tried out anywhere, anytime. Anyway, starting off once again here, let's do the scores. Let's do the scores. In the bottom right side, he is now in a position where he needs to get some victories on the board. He's the blue Zerg. He does manage to find those barracks here. Gets the scout off, needs to turn his head again, be like, wait, what? Did I see that correctly? And he is Gina Greenwing's Rogue. His opponent spawning in the top left, but more so on the far right side here. He is the red Terran player for the KC Gamers. He is INnoVation. Oh my god, that SCV does manage to get the barracks completed. Drones here trying their best to get a full surround off immediately as soon as something pops out. And INnoVation actually changing from the Marine into a Reaper here on this first barracks. The second barracks looks like actually also getting cancelled and then starting up something else. Wow, Rogue really reading into this correctly, realizing the timing didn't match up. So that is incredible, actually. That was some real mind gaming there, intuition, and overall just knowledge about the game coming into play right there. INnoVation being like, alright, well, I'm not going to try this anymore. Just going to try something else. It's going to go for the singular Reaper. Would have liked to see him just make more Reapers at this moment in time, actually, because this Sniper 2 rack still can do quite a bit with a couple of Reapers. Right, you don't have to go all in with Reapers, but especially before we have any link speed, they can do so much. Especially Proxy, right? You're gonna have them so early on. But yeah. Cool stuff, cool stuff. And then INnoVation as well, like cancelling and really quickly adding in another Marine to make it look like, yeah, I'm still producing here, man. I'm still producing. Just trying to keep those drones on those barracks for as long as possible. That was so cool. That was so cool. Alright, so the common response for, well, the follow-up, I should say, for a turn is going to be what's happening right here as well. 2 command centers coming into play immediately. INnoVation trying to set up his shop with a lot of overall, well, macro game. With a big overall macro game. Send both his barracks back home as well, actually, which is not the most common thing. Very normal to have one of those barracks to just kind of go in as a scout, try to figure out what your opponent is doing. Drone there, not quite having enough minerals just yet to transform into a hatchery. For a moment, I thought we may be going into a lay attack, but overall, let's take a look. 34 workers, not too far. What was Rogue doing? Why did he get his base so late? I think it was just because of getting that many links, right? Must be the case, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Seems like so much time though overall. It's like a full minute of a delay. Maybe a bit of trouble later on here for Rogue. As this may give INnoVation actually quite a bit of a jump start to his economy with that third base being so much quicker than his opponents. Now, of course, he only has 29 workers. Did invest into the early double barracks, so in a way, it's gonna swing as a pendulum a little bit, that income advantage now in favor for Rogue. And ultimately, as soon as that third base is ready for INnoVation, it's gonna have more mules, more SCV production. Gonna start up his economy rather nicely. Aiming to clean up some of those spore crawlers, or Spore Crawlers. Creep Tumors. INnoVation. We haven't seen him do the Raven play yet either anymore, have we? Is that still something that he does? I'm not quite sure. I really loved seeing the Raven play from INnoVation in the TvZ matchup. It seemed so useful overall to just hunt down Creep Tumors. You saved so much of your scan energy. And, you know, people always say Terrans don't need their gas as much. Minerals way more important for Terrans, especially if you're playing bio and such. So if you spend some gas in order to ensure that you're gonna have to spend less mules energy, right, for scans instead, that just gives you more money more quickly. And I don't know, maybe ultimately it turned out not to be worth it, seeing INnoVation kind of backing off from that strategy, right? We've not seen it a single time so far, so he may have just changed his mind about it or learned something new. That shows that this is in fact not the best way to approach this. Okay, upgrade-wise, we do see Rogue getting himself ahead. He's still very far ahead on the work account, actually. Thought this was going to swing a little bit quicker into INnoVation's favor, but what's wrong about that? Here we go, Hellbat push. We have Banelings available. There's no speed, but you don't necessarily need speed against the Hellbats. They're very slow, clunky units. They don't have stim available. And let's see, they're all clumped up right now, so the Lings do manage to get a pretty reasonable surround. Actually gonna... Huh. Okay, doesn't go for the Marines there, mostly with the Banelings. I thought he was gonna go for the Hellbats there. Just managed to do a nice little maneuver. And cleans this up relatively well. Keeping his drone count very, very healthy. Only losing 2 of them in total. INnoVation doing whatever he can here to still make some utility happen from this push, of course. Trying to find the Banelings wherever he can, pick them off. Every bit of value works out into your favor with StarCraft 2 after all. He who does not appreciate the small things will never achieve the greatness. Especially in StarCraft 2. Full base here, full Rogue already established. Looking to start mining there relatively soon. Circlings. Okay, yeah, reasonable split, reasonable split. Do we have an Overseer? The Overseer is about to be ready. There it is. It's coming out. Alright, so we have... Oh, that is a medevac with 2 Widowmines right now. Drawing a lot of eyes away from the rest of the engagements. Great pull away though there by Rogue. Will not be taking too much damage. That could all change, of course. Just a single good Baning hit or a Widowmine hit and things can snowball very quickly. It's an alright Widowmine, but ultimately not quite enough. There's good Baning connections also. INnoVation not being able to get himself out of that position just quite in time. Alright, so, I mean, the creep spread here on the left side, not too shabby. I mean, it's what I would call barely enough to kind of protect these flanks from easy pushes for INnoVation. The top side, though, this is where I'm seeing some trouble occur if there's ever another push coming through here. And I'm fairly certain that INnoVation would pick up on this as well. He's going to keep pushing this top side. He knows that's where the lack of creep is. That's where he put the most time in. Or he's gonna try to spend some more time just macroing up and slowly but surely get himself more creep tumors killed. Alright. Looks like it is going to be the second thing. Medevac does get taken out. 2 Widowmines still available though in this main base. Where are the Overseers? There it is. Alright, good. Good. Infestation Pit and Lurker Den on the way. Once again, Rogue going for the Lurker style, right? So, interesting to see Rogue suddenly kind of adjusting his own playstyle here as well. And going more so for the Lurkers. I always feel like Rogue is more of a Mutalisk player, but I mean, the Hydra Bane Link style seems to be coming back into fashion quite heavily. Another Baneling or circling drop. It's Widowmine drops. Medivacs trying to find some something to do over here as well as Rogue. You know what? Overall, let's see what he has lost so far. He's a little bit behind, but because of the income advantage he's been able to kind of uphold throughout this entire game, it seems like it's quite useful. Maybe because of Cure style, that's why Hydras are returning. That could be a good point actually, but I feel like we've. Maybe I just missed the ballpark and the pro game has seen Cure style a little bit earlier on with the heavy Widowmine play. But I feel like we already saw like kind of Serral also doing this before really a heavy playstyle of the Widowmines came into effect. Or maybe that was him just already having witnessed what happened to Raynor and then just kind of adjusting from there. It's a really good point actually, Boy Fantasy. That could very well be likely. I mean, it's a little bit easier to pick off those Widowmines with the Hydralisk. You know, you don't have to micro as much. You can just kind of A move them after the Overseers spot them. Rogue needs to be careful. 2 flanks here. On both flanks, both players do have armies, though. Let's see how they will be able to match up against one another. It feels like Rogue just has a better force overall available at the moment. That was a big Widowmine, though. You saw DRG doing some Hydra Ling Bane versus TY on stream. Okay. When was this, Boy Fantasy, as well? This is the tough part though, right? Of having the Hydras instead of the Mutalisk. You can't really chase Medivacs as easily. Bit easier to maintain those bio units and maybe some Widowmines as well on the retreating. Okay, we have Lurkers on the way and we need the Lurkers right here, right now. I feel like there's already a good amount of extra Marauders with this composition as well that are helping out, but this is a scary push coming through here for INnoVation. We do have a massive counterattack though. That's where the Lurkers are. Very interesting choice here for Rogue to go for the base trade situation. It's like he's playing pretty much Mutalisk style here, but instead of Mutalisk going for the base trade, it's going to be Lurkers. Lurkers not that quick at killing things though. Not that quick at just moving between bases and picking off workers. So I don't know if this is the right call. It feels like the Bioforce is going to just be a lot more capable of dishing out lethal blows in a base trade situation, and that's exactly what we're seeing happening right now. Already splitting up everything that he owns. Reasonable blinding clouds, but the Banelings mainly connecting to these Marauders. The main base for Rogue will be safe, as he does have five Lurkers right on top of this ramp area, and has some Lurkers into his third base as well. He lost, well, one base. The other hatchery still stands, but that is going to go down as well. I think mainly the problem there is... Oh, this could be big as well. Okay, does get picked off. I'm not sure if I like the base trade situations here for Rogue, right? It does feel a little bit counterintuitive. He's going to lose the Hydralisk then now as well. He already anticipated this, though. Remaking it in his main. Does he get this army though? That would be big. With the parasitic bombs, he may be able to prevent INnoVation from just jumping back into these Medivacs. He needs to get another parasitic bomb. Come on, get it! Guys, gonna get away. That's unfortunate. That is quite unfortunate. Now, army supply here for Rogue kind of dwindling. His base count also kind of dwindling. And INnoVation, he did reclaim another base over here on the top side. INnoVation is ahead on bases overall right now. To be fair, it's not that much mining in the natural bases going on anyway, but still, it looks like this is a fantastic moment in time here for INnoVation. Let's see, do we get a blinding cloud? Do we get anything else? Parasitic bomb does manage to get rid of a lot of those Medivacs right now. 4 Medivacs filled up to the brim, trying to gain entrance into this main base. A lot of spores and overall, well, anti-air defense there though. decides to go elsewhere into this base. And this is, well, I think one of the 2 mining bases still left for Rogue. I think Rogue is, he's falling apart right now. INnoVation doing a great job to just kind of move between locations and force these lurkers into very difficult split situations. Now, if Rogue still manages to get somewhat of a straight-up fight to go in, take place somewhere, force Rogue to go into him, that would be fantastic, of course. I think that would be the way for him to still win this game, but I'm not sure if that is going to be what INnoVation is going to let him do. Just doesn't feel like that should be the case, right? Alright, on 2 sides though, this army is coming in. That's a lot of lurkers. That's enough lurkers to hold back quite a bit of bio. 2 more lurkers right there. This is a very weird fight. This is a very, very weird setup. Alright, in we go. The stim is coming forwards. I think there's still too many lurkers though. Alright, Rogue, he is getting some ground right now. INnoVation realizing he's not going to be able to fight this army straight up and is going to go once again for the base trade, which is what I feel like where his power lies right now with the how the army compositions are mixing up one against another. But do we still have more stuff coming in? Yeah, we do. INnoVation, his attacking force is getting quite heavily pummeled right now. Making Liberators. The Liberators may be the salvation for INnoVation right now. We need to have more Hydralisk come into play for Rogue here. Even if he can do a yoink onto those Liberators, he will not have that much to actually shoot them down. Does he know about the base further to the top side? He's going to check for it, so that's a really good call. Where did this medevac go? I think the medevac did get taken out. 1 single Widowmine right there. Or, no, wait, it's here. Okay, there we go. Targeting the Zergling instead of the Lurk or the Viper there, unfortunately. Quick pull away with those lurkers. A very good call. Coming down the ramp. Is there enough lurker firepower? It may not be just quite. Oh, that is a lot of lurkers going down. This is one of the weirder games that I've had to cast for a while now. INnoVation. Okay, let's take a look on the income tab. He's not getting any money anymore. He's getting 140 minerals and 300 gas. We still have a really good force here for Rogue as well. I think Rogue may be able to do this. He has this lurker here still as well. He's going to be able to deny the mining here, clean up a lot of those workers. And that is the one final thing that needed to happen. GG is called. INnoVation moving across the field as he was losing the one mining base he had left still. And GG is called. Rogue takes another victory right now. That was a very important one. That was gonna... this is maintaining somewhat of a flexibility for Rogue, right? He's going to be able to eke it out. Again, only 1 point behind right now instead of 3. Only 1 point instead of 3, right? That is a difficult place to come back from. If you are already just with 1 point versus 4 and your opponent only needs to win 1 more game, that is abysmal. That is horrifying, especially against somebody like INnoVation. So very, very happy to see Rogue making it a little bit closer here still. And keeping the score a bit tighter together. Hopefully we're going to go to the ace match, right? That is what we're all hoping for here. I'm pretty darn certain that we all are, at least. Alright, so there we are. The next map coming down. Let's see. Went 1-1 and... So, yeah. So, right now it's 2-3. Yeah, it's 2-3. The score. Still not in the clear here for Rogue. Still needs 1 more victory to tie it up, ultimately. But, you know what? Seeing a game like that feels like it's all to play for again. A bit questionable going for the base trade in the first place. But ultimately, it seemed like it turned out okay. Maybe for the base trade overall, you want to send some Zerglings in for harassment. Sending in the lurkers though, that felt quite a committed base trade. You know, you want to have some lurkers back at home for the defense, right? Maybe you're not gonna immediately be able to defend the 3rd base location on the vertical line, but you will be able to maintain some sense of normalcy in your natural. I like Inno's Viking start though. His Hellbat early pushes didn't work last time when he got 0-3'd. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I like the Viking start as well. Just kind of keep the Zerg opponents in the dark, right? It is quite difficult for a Zerg to kind of see when they need to expand and such. They are very responsive to the Terran in a way. They need to adjust a lot. And if they don't know if there's a third base on the way, they don't know if there's just a ton of barracks, a lot of factories, this type of stuff, right? It's hard to make those judgment calls, and very quickly you can find yourself in a position where it's just like, well, I guess I just made too many drones, and now I'm dead. Now I'm dead. Anyway, Rogue, he's a skilled navigator when it comes to navigating your way in the StarCraft universe. He will be able to, like I said, maintain somewhat of his odds here. Keep his dreams alive to win this best of 9. Let's go. Dathora. Dathora, one of my favorite maps. A lot of crazy macro games do occur on this map. Will that be the case again? We'll have to wait and see. Alright. 2 points on the board. One more and it will all be to play for once again. He's the blue Zerg. He's from the Jinna Green Wings. He is Rogue. His opponent in the red. He is the one and only KaiZ Gamer. INnoVation. Alright. Alright. I am getting kind of stoked seeing these guys going up against one another. You get the StarCraft shivers, don't you? You just kind of are like, oh wow, this is a great game. This is just a fantastic game. I'm so glad to be a part of this game overall. Now I want to play this game. Oh, you get the urge. You get the urge. And then you start playing and you realize, oh my god, I'm nowhere near the amount of skill that's required to play a game like they do. But oh well. Oh well, it doesn't matter because that is 99.99% of the player base. Here we are. Alright, so let's take a gander. No proxy Rex this time around. I did say that we haven't seen a lot of proxy Rex coming out of INnoVation. And then on Lightshade, all of a sudden, immediately the game afterwards, he's like, you know what I should do? You know what I should do? Let's do the proxy Rex. But to be fair, I mean, Rogue, he went for the drone scout, so didn't do that on Oxide. Maybe it's just something with the map Oxide where I suppose you can send your overlords in a pretty reasonable trajectory and be fairly safe against most things. Okay, Rogue is sending back his overlord this time around. He didn't do this on Oxide, right? So that had me a little bit worried overall. Maybe something that INnoVation could be taking advantage of. But then the game afterwards, when he tried to perhaps take advantage of this, he got punished. He got punished. And to be fair, with the Viking openings here from INnoVation, maybe you don't want your overlords that far across the map. Alright. Little bit of chivalry there between the Reapers and the Lynx. Poking each other until the moment where they're almost dead. And then be like, alright, well fought, and they go their separate ways. What's up, Janus? Hope I'm not mispronouncing that. Who knows? Remember Inno doing a fake bunker push. Ooh. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Inno can get a little bit funky with his playstyle sometimes. Like, he is very much known for just a straight up macro play and continuously going for the same build orders and such, but ultimately he has evolved quite a bit over the years, hasn't he? It's not just the straight up regular kind of plays. He's getting creative, he's trying out new things sometimes. Right, one of the things was that Raven that was very unique to INnoVation overall. Kind of fell out of fashion here, so I'm a bit bummed out by that one, but oh well. What are we having here? Double medevac, alright, so... Oh, right, I didn't see the second barracks, my bad, guys. So yeah, it's going to be double medevac with the sim bio play. And Rogue, what is Rogue doing? He does have an Evo chamber on the way, doesn't have any type of baneling nest on the way. Interesting. Could become dangerous for him. It's a lot easier to hold this type of stuff off if you do have a baneling nest. It's going to be a long while before he has any type of baneling speed though as well, of course. Going for the plus armor, that's a cool thing to see, right? Immediately realizing kind of what your opponent is doing, going heavy into the bio. We're seeing the +1 as well being researched. I don't know if you saw that engineering bay before now, but that's just cool to see the +1 armor instead of the attack. All right, here we go. Here we go. Stim is ready. Combat shield not quite yet. That's going to be a little while before that is done, but these Marines still back quite that big punch. Let's see how well they trade. Good bit of micro there overall. And didn't trade very favorably. Did not trade very favorably. I mean, he did get himself quite heavily surrounded there. The Queen's still poking away. It's not going to get into the main base either undetected. Kind of stuck on this location. Maybe hoping for some creep tumors to be coming out and try their luck, snipe those down. At least get something here. But yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a... That was a bit of a fail right there for INnoVation. Not quite finding what he was looking for, I would say. Here we go, Zerglings getting a reasonable surround, immediately forcing the lift up with those medevacs. More stuff is coming across though. That +1 is about to finish up. The combat shield also done right now, so this time around it's going to be even more difficult to defend against this without banelings. But I mean, we have banelings on the way, so there you go. There you go. We still have something going, going the way I anticipated. There is the scan, sniping some creep tumors. Very nice. Right. I think in those situations, it's very much worth sending in those banelings onto the Widow Mines, right? Like, you don't have any stealth detection. They're about to go off. If you don't set them off with the banelings, you're very likely to just lose a ton more overall resources from the Zerglings instead. So I really do enjoy him utilizing those banelings there in this type of situation. Because I did criticize him a little bit, right? When he was going for baneling hits onto the Widow Mines when he didn't quite need to, perhaps. Yeah, Marines now doing quite nicely against these Zerglings. Of course, the Zerglings don't have the +1 melee attack. It's making things a little bit more difficult for them. Another drop here on the left side, immediately scanning, getting rid of creep and getting on out of there. What happened to the Liberator? There's the Liberator, alright. I love seeing it on the left side there as well. Well, I don't love seeing it because you don't really see it, which is the problem there. Okay, getting some kills there, getting some kills, perhaps more creep tumors. Yes, indeed. Widow Mines in really solid positions here as well. Baneling speed is about to finish up, so this could become a bit problematic here for INnoVation as he's still just kind of waiting to see what he can get done. That's a lot of queens for that one Liberator. The Liberator escapes though. Sets up shop on the second base. Not bad at all. Okay, 2 more medevacs. INnoVation, he is going absolutely ham with his aggression right now. Just continuously pushing out everywhere. All the flanks. +2 now for INnoVation on the way as well as, you know what, the +2 armor for Rogue. That's actually very early on. Did spend a bit of time though before he went for the melee upgrades, as I've mentioned before. So his Zerglings are going to be quite tanky. It's going to be a bit though before they actually kill things. Especially with medevacs nearby. That's going to be quite a difficult thing to do. Banelings here, finally having speed as well. Gonna help out quite a bit. The Widow Mines, though, being burrowed, keeping this safe. It's a lot more Zerglings than I thought initially. Is this just gonna be it? Is this how INnoVation dies because he didn't close the front door? Or the second door? Or have any defense back at home? Oh my god, he lost everything. He lost absolutely everything. SCVs going down absolutely everywhere. 50, 60 at some SCVs. That's ridiculous. That is preposterous. And now INnoVation's gonna have to make something work on this side of the map. Will he be able to? I'm not quite sure because there's more Banelings, it feels like, than there's Marines, and he has to pick up. The Widow Mine not getting a good connection either. And there's still Zerglings in his base. There's still Zerglings absolutely everywhere. I think Rogue may have done it. I think Rogue may have put himself in a position where, I mean, I don't see him lose anymore. INnoVation, he still has a bit of army supply. He's going to try to get something to go into his favor here. Oh, look at that. Finally now being careful with those Banelings also. He knows he's on the verge of winning. He knows all he has to do is clean up this army now as efficiently as possible. And there's no chance in hell that he is going to be going down anymore. That was one of the biggest Ling run-bys I've seen in my entire life. Almost 60 SCVs going down. My dear lord. And only two workers died so far for Rogue? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous as well. Rogue on absolute fire right now. It looks like he's going to tie up the entire series. And that's it. GG. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. And that's why you always lock your front door when you leave the house. That's why you always lock the front door. You lost too many SCVs like the last game. Yeah, I think so as well. I think 55 SCVs is a bit too many to lose. Alright guys, remember, these players, they don't play for free. We do have a Metrorino page. So if you want to contribute to these players, there's multiple ways how you can do this. Let me just accept this and then I'll show you guys for a quick brief second here. Before the next game does start off. Let's take a look together, shall we? There we are. It's quite easy to do. You don't have to pay anything. You don't really have to do much of anything. We only have 7.8 bucks right now on the prize pool, and that's a bit disappointing, not gonna lie, guys. I would love for you all to come over to the Metrorino page. It's linked right now in the chat as well. I can pin this message as well so you all can see it immediately on the top side. Alright, so all you gotta do, over here, you gotta sign in. So, I'm signing out first. You don't have to do that, of course. That's not part of the process. You gotta sign in, press Twitch, or whatever you want. Blammo, just like that. Press contribute. Enter that code, which is, in fact, an easy one. AX191. Just like that, 50 cents will be added to the prize pool. Now, I can't do it again, because I've already used it. So, you guys still will be able to do so. If you want to do a little bit more for free, then definitely check out these quests on the right. Go check them out. Easy as peasy. Easy as pie. Peasy pie. And, of course, we have the replay pack as well. So, if you're into this type of stuff, if you want to check it out, this is the way to do it. Get yourself those replays. And without further ado, we are going into this game here, guys. It's tied up. It's tied up. We're going for the long haul here. It looks like 3-3. A guaranteed game number 8. And who knows, maybe we'll get ourselves a game number 9 as well. We just need both these players to get a little bit lucky. Alright, here we go. In the bottom right side, we have ourselves a blue Zerg. He is about to be all in, as anybody can all in a man. This is as heavy as it gets. Anyway, he's the blue Zerg from Jinak Green Wings. He's going for a drone scout. That is massive as well. He is Rogue. His opponents, you know what, let's just introduce him over here. He is the red Terran player. He is making 3 barracks right now. Will it be enough? Rogue, oh, Rogue finds it though. He's from Kaisi Gaming. He is INnoVation. Wait, is he going for 3 barracks, or is this just a new way how you do this because you anticipate the drone scout? Because you anticipate the drone scout, you're like, alright, well, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. This actually adds quite a bit, right? Doesn't it? It's not being delayed whatsoever. And now he has still 2 SCVs. Well, 3 SCVs here. Should be able to complete this. Oh, no. Oh, you're kidding me! He's just... Oh, God. INnoVation. INnoVation, no. Doesn't even want to try to keep that going anymore. What in the world? I think that was a very early tap out for something like that. Who won? You know what? That's a good question. I don't think anybody won that one. But we're going to have to give a point to Rogue because INnoVation, he said GG and he tapped out. So yeah, that puts that puts Rogue on match point. That puts Rogue on match point, just like that. INnoVation. What was going through his mind there? I mean, it was just a 2 Rex as well. I guess he did bring the third SEV. I thought it was going to be a triple Rex, but it turns out that he wanted to go for the safety play in case he gets drone scouted, and then a drone scout happens, and then he just taps out immediately. It's like, what? Maybe he did want to go for the triple Rex and then decided against it because of the drone scout. That seems like a more likely situation to me. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Oh. Okay. And just like that, coming back with, what was it? 3 wins in a row? Can he get a 4th? He's the Blue Zerg in the top left side. He's from Jinna Greenwings. He is Rogue. His opponent in the red, he is from Kai C Gaming. He is INnoVation. Rogue's been stepping it up again, hasn't he? That is surely the case right now. It looks like he's going to go for another macro game here as well. Yes, he will. And now INnoVation, of course, that's the question. How badly does he want to play League of Legends right now? How much is his urge to go play League? Is his brother just sitting next to him, playing League, waiting for him? That could be the question on his mind. How long am I going to have to be here? How long am I going to have to do this? I want to play games with my brother. Well, I mean, it's fair. It's fair. But you know what? You can't just throw games because of this INnoVation. This is your job after all. You're gonna have to try a little bit here, especially if you want your money. I suppose we still give him the 2nd place prize, of course. Even if we do see him tap out a little bit too early, perhaps. But yeah, if he wants that 1st prize money, though, that is gonna be it's gonna be a little bit more difficult right now because of that aggressive play, trying to eke out an early bird victory. Anyway, submarine is the map. If I remember correctly, INnoVation just kind of winning this one with solid pushing from the Marines and the siege tanks. Remember the Marines actually killing off a good cluster of lurkers right here. Surprising. Don't see that every day, but it did manage to work out this time around. See if he goes for something similar. In that game, we actually also had Zergling run-bys, right? But it wasn't as crazy. It didn't get as many kills. Didn't get as many kills at all, actually. Nowhere near the amount of kills. Whoa, the flying drone. It does sometimes feel like the drone is doing a wheelie when they get reaper-nated. I think he meant for a 3 Rex, tapped out because everything was going wrong. Yeah, I got scouted, lost the SCV. Yeah, I think he lost 2 SCVs, didn't he? It was just, yeah, it just was weird. I suppose it is such more of an investment to send 3 SCVs across the map immediately instead of the 2. I don't think you are able to kind of keep a game going like that if you do send 3 SCVs, the 3rd one just in case, if you do get drone scouted. It felt quite useful and it was a nice little moment where he made the best out of the situation, but ultimately he really couldn't later on anymore. And then, I mean, you still see some Terrans try to eke it out later on with builds like these, right? It's still possible. You can still make some efforts. You can still make some attempts. We've all seen some of those games still kind of turn around, but ultimately, I mean, I suppose if you're playing against Rogue, you're a bit bleak on the outcome of games that open up like that, right? Somebody of the caliber of Rogue, maybe a bit more of the trigger to just be like, alright, well, let's conserve my energy. I need to win 2 games now. Let's just go into the next one. Well, it was a silly attempt anyway, right? Trying to go for the proxy 3 racks. This guy drone scouts apparently. Let's not do it again. Alright, 3 bases and a Roach Warren, actually. This is quite the early on Roach Warren, guys. We may be seeing Rogue going for the Roach aggression. Could work out rather well, because we do have the triple command center play here from INnoVation. INnoVation. Okay, we're still seeing more drones actually being produced and circling. So, let's wait and see how many Roaches we're going to get. And it's a layer attack. Okay, so it could be for getting quick Roach speed. We're not seeing any Evo chambers, so it's not the +1/+1 Roach attack. So far, at least. May still turn into it. What if we just make the Roaches as a safety net, kind of against the Hellions, or Hellbat Tinings, instead of a Baneling Nest? That would be weird. He's still making drones, so maybe he chose against it. Maybe he was just kind of feeling tempted to go for the Roaches, and then was like, you know what, never mind. Never mind. Let's just do the regular stuff. We've seen how those rushes ended up for INnoVation, so why try to do that myself? It is just one single more game he has to win, right? So 2 engineering base already available, +1/+1 on the way. All right, Evo chambers are done. Let's see what kind of attack he gets. Okay, so it is the range, and it is the plus movement speed as well at the same time. So it could definitely still be the +1/+1 Roach attack. A big timing right here. Gonna try to get himself that 4th base at the same time. Looks like that will be achieved. Single Viking here. Only a single kill so far as well. But keeping Rogue in the dark. He doesn't have that much intel on the other side, except for a single Ling, it looks like. Trying to figure out what his opponent has. Sees a siege tank there. A couple of Marines. Kind of big. The Viking got killed off here by the Spore Crawler, it looks like. Now we have the massive Roaches. Now we have the big swell. The increase in army supply here for Rogue. Will this be the wise choice? I mean, there's already a second wall here available. Another wall over here for INnoVation. It's not that much surface area. Not that much places where you can get a big concave going with the Roaches. If INnoVation moves out now, though, with those siege tanks and the Marines, that could be, oh, that could be bad. That could be really bad, actually. INnoVation actually doing the same thing that he did the previous game. It did work out that time around, but now he is moving into this location where Rogue is already prepping up an attack of his own. Are they just gonna walk past one another, though? Oh, that is quite funny, isn't it? Okay, he does see it coming in right now. He's just gonna go for it. He doesn't give a hoot. He's just like, alright, well, that's fine with me. If you want to try to take me on my side of the turf, I will come to your own home as well. Circling on top of the supply depots. Getting on top of the ramp now as well. Let's see where the Biles will land. Managing to get a bit of damage done right now. The Roaches already on top of those SCVs. The army of INnoVation trying to attempt to get back, to move back as quickly as possible. Stim coming out. 13 workers so far have gone down. INnoVation losing quite a bit so far, but does manage to kind of keep a very healthy economy so far. And he, yeah, looks like he's doing okay. Not too bad. Overseer is here right now. Needs to get a couple of more Ravagers, I would say, in order to really start wailing away at those siege tanks on the high ground. Be able to one-shot them with the Ravagers is a big deal, but not going for it just quite yet. Marines now tasked with trying to prevent the death of the 3rd base. Okay, Rogue, he's still just making Roaches. Still more Ravagers on the way as well. He's getting +2/+2. He's fully committed here. He's not looking to transition. He wants to do the lethal amount of dose of damage. He is finding perhaps right now more SCVs are falling. The siege tank's still a little bit far away, but you need to, right? You can't just march right up there and get whiffed up by those Ravagers immediately. Nice dodge on the bile. A lot of SCVs again going down here. Command center has to be picked up as well. Tanks as much damage as it could now. Needs to be going to a safe place. Okay, the Marines will be able to hold on for now. INnoVation still in a playable position. I mean, overall, Rogue, what does he have? Sure, he has 66 workers versus 44. But what does he have to fall back onto? He has roaches. That's all he has. He doesn't even have a baneling nest. He doesn't have anything else. He has +2/+2 on the way. But how are you going to be able to continue a game like this onwards as Rogue? It's going to be a tough one. To be fair, INnoVation, of course, he's not looking the sharpest he's ever looked in this series either. Still wants to perhaps try to get some damage done with the Marines and the Medevacs here. Of course, Medevacs very open for abuse right now as we don't have Hydras, we don't have Mutalisks, we don't have anything that can really shoot these, except for Queens, I suppose. But yeah, these Medevacs should have a little bit of free reign for a while here. Let's see where he is going to go over. Just going to drop behind the mineral lines. Alright, so yeah, INnoVation. INnoVation, he held on. He's still up here. He's still looking okay. Rogue not tapping out just quite yet, though. It does feel like this is still a playable position. +2/+2 has finished up. About to finish up for INnoVation as well, though. Getting some solid trades against the roaches on the top side. Rogue, he is looking to start pushing again here. 5 siege tanks available. One of them not in siege mode, though, and there's no buffer at all either. Where are the Marines? Where is the bio available for INnoVation? I don't see it anywhere. It's just the 2 siege tanks. It's still in those medevacs on the other side of the map, and that may actually cost him right now. He's not going to be in a position to run backwards all the way again here. He's sending those Marines into the natural base. He needs to do a lot of damage. The Marines on this side as well. Maybe just the base trade. Maybe that is the way to do things right now. Needs to get on top of the production, which is the hatchery. And on top of those drones, of course, as well. But this is looking absolutely fantastic for Rogue. He will be able to stay on top of the production right here. As the medevacs, they are extremely low on the HP. Not that many Marines remain. INnoVation trying to reclaim his own base here. Gets hit by a bile. That is disgusting. And that looks like it may be it here for INnoVation, guys. The supply is not looking all that favorably for him. GG. Once again, INnoVation has to tap out right there. And Rogue takes 5.